Thank you for having us today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm honored to be here to support such an amazing program. I have been to the Fulton County Jail to support their jail dog program, and it really is touching my heart like you have no idea, knowing that we're not only saving an animal, but we're also saving a man. And it's just a remarkable relationship that I am truly passionate about and fully support. So I wanted to start here today with a little bit of our background and how it all started and some of our family struggles and heartache in our life before we adopted Xena. I would say since Johnny was less than a year old, about 8 years ago now, we knew that there was something a little different with Johnny. Something wasn't quite right. Johnny was not reaching his milestones. He wasn't eating, he wasn't speaking. And through doctor appointments, after doctor appointments, from evaluations to neurologists, the word autism was being suggested. I couldn't bear the word to cross my lips. I knew in my heart that it was autism, but this mom just couldn't say it. So at the time, I chose to say special needs. Don't ask me why it was easier, but for some reason, my heart was able to handle it. Maybe I felt special needs was temporary, that my son required some special needs right now, and that autism felt more permanent to me, and I just wasn't ready for anything permanent. Maybe it was because autism seemed much more scary to me. I really didn't know what it was, and I remember going back to the movie Rain Man as to what I thought autism would be. 8 years ago, I felt that there just wasn't anywhere to go, or maybe it was me just not knowing how to navigate in this brand new world. You never saw a commercial on TV about autism. And when we went to the doctor appointments, they used so many acronyms that my husband and I thought that they were speaking a foreign language. We were so lost, we were extremely devastated, we were heartbroken, and everyone but me and my family was in denial. I understand denial, although back then it certainly wasn't helping me or Johnny out at all. I believe denial comes from hope. We so desperately want the very best for our children that we never, ever, ever give up hope. There isn't a blood test to diagnose autism. The CAT scan came back normal, so we continued with hope. And we excused the behaviors we saw because we had hope. I saw it in my husband all the time. He would say things like, "Oh, he didn't get enough sleep last night," or "Johnny doesn't feel well. He feels warm." Well, Johnny wasn't warm, and he had had plenty of sleep, but it was hope that was excusing the behaviors away. So we had a family in denial, a mother who was completely navigating in this world alone and couldn't even say the word autism. Our family was so sadly broken, and I have to admit that these were the darkest days of my life. It wasn't that I loved my little boy any less. In fact, I think we couldn't have loved him any more. Watching him struggle, visiting doctor after doctor, CAT scans, evaluations, hearing tests, where Johnny needed anesthesia because he failed all the soundproof booth tests and they tested his hearing through brain waves. All this was just too hard, so hard for us parents to witness. I think we held him closer and tighter every single day. But what I was going through was almost like a mourning. I was mourning all the hopes and dreams that I had envisioned for my son. At the time, I thought that they were gone. Our life as a family was going to change, and it was going to be so completely different than what I had envisioned. I felt I couldn't do it, that I wasn't up for this kind of life. I felt that God was giving me way too much to handle, and in fact, I was angry. I was so angry for God, but through all my anger, I still never stopped praying. Everything about Johnny was developmentally delayed, and that was another term I could easily say in place of autism. From sitting up to crawling, walking, eating, speaking, Johnny has a condition called hypotonia, which is low muscle tone, which affects every single muscle of his body, from head to toe, from swallowing to talking, to strength and walking. I remember just an added shoe was too much weight for Johnny to pick up to walk. And if Johnny wasn't barefoot, he was being carried on my hip, he was in a stroller, or he was on my husband's shoulders. He just didn't have the strength to take more than a few steps. Johnny's speech was non-existent, so we started teaching Johnny sign language. And it actually helped him quite a bit since the frustration level would be diminished. We started with therapy when Johnny was 3, and throughout Johnny's younger years, I feel we tried just about everything. I would stay up at night researching and Googling and researching more. And whether it was therapy or diet or medication, I wanted so desperately to help my child that I think we did it all and we tried it all. Throughout kindergarten years, and Johnny's first grade years, I think I took a whole new role with Johnny. I wanted Johnny to succeed so much that every day after school, I would have lesson plans all ready for him. I was not only his mother, but I was his teacher and his therapist. In addition to homework, I would have work for him. I became obsessed with trying to play catch up. I would stay up all night long thinking of ways to teach him, how to teach him in an unconventional way, a way in which Johnny would learn. I made things, I cut, I pasted, I glued, all to help Johnny learn. I was living, breathing, sleeping Johnny, and looking back at it today, I know it wasn't healthy for me or for Johnny. Johnny does well overall in school, but as our family life continues, we have our ups and downs. And this seems to be our consistent pattern of life living with autism. As a family living with autism, I feel we have learned to love deeper, to believe stronger, and we have learned to enjoy all the successes in life, no matter how small they are. We no longer sweat the small stuff, and our biggest celebrations are because of the smallest successes. We have learned to appreciate and love baby steps. As long as they are moving forward, progress is being made. So I continue to pray. I pray for strength to make it through every single day. I pray for guidance. I pray for miracles. I pray for peace. I pray for answers. And I pray for Johnny to be happy. And never in my wildest dreams did I think that my prayers would be answered with a dog. I met Xena on the news one night last September. I was straightening up the family room and I was taken aback by the horrifying photo of her. They were looking to the public for any information on who could possibly have done this to a 4-month-old puppy. An emaciated, starved, so badly neglected and abused puppy was unresponsive, cold to the touch, and moments from death. The news said that she had that the Friends of DeKalb Animals, a rescue group, was caring for her, and that there was a Facebook page set up for donations. And I quickly grabbed my computer and typed the name so appropriately given to her, Xena the warrior puppy. I followed Xena from this day forward. I signed into Facebook daily to check in on her. I prayed, oh boy, did I pray for a miracle. A puppy who was given less than 1% chance to survive not only beat the odds, but grew into a healthy, loving pup, proof that miracles do come true. In November, Xena was well enough to hold her first fundraiser and meet her Facebook fans. I told my husband that morning that I wanted to go. He was a little hesitant because he didn't want me to fall in love with the warrior even more, if that was even possible, and to have my heart completely crushed if we weren't the ones to be adopting her. We were there for under 5 minutes since Johnny wasn't able to handle the crowd and the new environment, but Johnny met her, and he touched her, and he loved on her. And not knowing it at the time, the 11 Alive Atlanta News got it all on tape, and Johnny and Xena made the news together for the very first time that evening back in November, when Xena being part of our family was only a dream and a prayer. The video footage shows a puppy engaged with others, and all of a sudden she takes off and runs to Johnny. Could it be fate? I believe in my whole heart that it was, and that these two were destined to be together, but I just didn't know the rest of the miracles that were about to unfold. So it was after this meet and greet fundraiser that I decided to submit adoption papers. I remember filling them out. I think it took me all weekend. I didn't just answer a question. I wrote a novel. I turned the paper around back and I drew arrows around back to further explain my answers. I wanted to make sure that whomever was reading about me and my family and my other 2 puppies, that they fully understood my love of dogs. I was in love, and I knew that I could give this little baby that had been so badly abused a life she so deserves. I remember my husband always asking me, "Do you really think you're going to get that dog? She has like over 14,000 Facebook fans." My answer was always yes. I prayed, and in February I got a call asking if I was still interested in adopting Xena. So Xena the warrior puppy came to us on February 11th, 2013 for a home trial visit.